Lauren Butler was not your typical jailhouse bad boy, with his hazel eyes, dark brown curly hair, and short 5'4" stature. Instead, he was a soft target and easy to use. He was looking at near 40 years in prison for his crimes, at least until the truth of his crimes became known to the population of the Platte County Jail. He was a repeat molester. What made it worse was he was a repeat sex offender who liked to touch little girls. Someone stabbed repeatedly him with a shank 17 times. At the end, it was a relief when his life finally ended. It was a short-lived relief when Lauren opened his eyes in a desert. The desert's sandy expanse grew tiresome as Lauren trudged in the first direction that caught his attention. The desert was a vast wasteland of sand, cactus, weeds, and brutal hot winds, the sun beating down on his head. Lauren traveled for what could have been hours or days. The never-moving sun was unrelenting as it beat down on his pale skin. It was only when he felt as if he could go no further. He found a diner named Mott's. A loud bang and a belch of black smoke caught the attention of everyone in the diner. The cause of the noise and smoke was an ancient double-decker bus. It looked as if it was from an even older era than the diner. It looked to be falling apart. At the same time, held together by wire and rivets with mismatched parts and sheet metal. The bus pulled into the parking lot, pulling across the spaces and as close to the diner as was possible. The door opened with an unholy screech crossed with a scream. A greasy man descended the steps. A fine blue light passed over his body as he stepped from the lowest step out into the desert. The man was almost as wide as he was tall, with greasy dark brown hair. A layer of sweat-like grease on his face and hands. He was wearing grease-encrusted old-fashioned coveralls, with a patch that named him Alan. His walk to the front door of the diner was in a rapid bounce. Another man rushed down the stairs. He tripped and slammed into a bright blue barrier. It morphed into a flexible reddish-white screen. It threw the man backward. He was a man only in the loosest ways possible, his head adorned with ram's horns. His skin was a midnight black, eyes a fiery blue, white and hooves instead of feet. When he entered the diner, Alan's eyes raced and bounced across the faces of the visitors there. He ignored those who worked there. They landed on Lauren's and grew cold. He traipsed over to the booth. "Ah, so you are little Lauren? Are you ready to hop on the party bus?" Alan asked with a slimy smile. "Little Lauren?" Lauren asked with disgust. Sure. That was what I called you when I knew your mom," Alan responded with a predatory smile. "He is as ready for you as he will ever be," Darcel said with a blank face. "The boss said you could give me a ride back." Sure, no problem there," Alan said with a grin. "You going to enjoy the party favor?" "No," Darcel said with a grimace. "I'm not big on sloppy seconds, let alone sloppy 100s. "Let's go," Alan suggested. When Lauren and Darcel stood, both Darcel and Alan put one hand on Lauren's shoulders. With almost gentle force, they led Lauren toward the door. Lauren would later consider it the end of stupidity. The crowd in the diner grew quiet. They watched as the three of them headed toward the door of the diner. A single customer asked a question, but stopped by his death agent, shushing him with later comment. The bus door opened as Alan walked toward it. He jumped up the stairs, his massive girth shifting, and in its own way helped him gain lift to get into the bus. The bus itself seemed to scream with each step Alan landed on. Lauren felt concern, fear, dread, and horror as he progressed toward the bus. His terror ratcheted up when he saw red glowing eyes blinking in the dark interior of the bus itself. Ushered onto the bus by Darcel, Lauren saw what looked like a typical old bus from the 1950s. Seats were more rigid than the more modern version. It was divided into the first 3 rows of seats, separated from the rest of the seats. Of the 6 seats up front, women occupied 2. Lauren attempted to sit in one of the front seats, but Alan stopped him. "Oh no, little Lauren, you have a special spot to sit further back on the bus. Darcel, be a good guy and show little Lauren to his seat." "All right, but I am still not going to join the party," Darcel agreed. "Come on, Lauren, time to find your seat," Darcel said as he led Lauren to the back of the bus. "Hello everyone, we are about to leave Mott's Diner," Alan said over the intercom. "Our next stop is the gates of hell. Our ETA is 6 days, 6 hours and 6 minutes from now." The bus started its trip, trundling away from the diner. It groaned and complained as it moved down an invisible road, billowing smoke behind it. Alan slammed his hand down on a large black button on the dash. The bus lurched to right. After catching himself, Alan stood up and stepped away from the wheel. The mic for the intercom was still in his hand. "This trip is special," he explained. "We have a new party favor to play with." He smiled with a demonic smile.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a comment. Be sure to like and subscribe. Also, feel free to let me know what other kinds of videos you would like to see in the future.